Live in Los Angeles, California at SummerSlam Radio Row with Bo Dallas. What's the haps, Bo?
How you doing, Sam? I'm doing fantastic.
The top of your jawline must be just constantly sore. You have to smile all the time.
Well, I'm used to it, so the muscles have developed to where it doesn't hurt anymore.
Right.
So I can constantly smile without any repercussions at all.
It's a muscle that you work out like any other muscle. So how happy were you? Because Bo Dallas has been a motivational speaker throughout the developmental territory WWE has, which is NXT, for smaller crowds for a long time. Now, when you come on to the big show in an arena full of people and you're doing Bo Dallas, the motivational speaker, if this thing falls flat, you look like a complete idiot. It didn't fall flat. How good does that feel?
I mean, it feels unbelievable. One thing you got to remember, I mean, NXT developmental system, it is a smaller crowd, more, like what you were talking about. But coming up to WWE with the bigger crowds and everything, you just got to remember and stay true to yourself and not doubt yourself, and you know everything's going to be okay. Because if you believe in yourself, if you believe in yourself, everybody's going to believe in you.
Yeah. Now, do you have to adapt what you're doing to work with a larger crowd, or do you just have to put the crowd completely out of your mind and said, this works there, it'll work here if I believe in it?
A little bit, but I would say for the majority of everything, I'd keep everything the same. If it works, it works, and don't change it. And that's what some guys do, If you start doubting yourself, people will see that. And I just believed in myself, and hopefully everybody else believed. And I think it's working out okay.
Well, it seems like you're already selling a whole bunch of T-shirts, which is a good thing.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Now, you got brought up a while back in a Royal Rumble match a year or two ago. And it looked like they were going to bring you up, and then they didn't bring you up. When you go back to NXT after being brought up, is there a part of you that thinks, like, is this not going to happen? When is this going to happen? How do you survive thinking, okay, it didn't work that time, but I'll be back with something better?
Well, being brought up into the Royal Rumble and then Monday Night Raw the next night, I mean, I got a taste of it. And then in developmental, I got the opportunity. I won the NXT Championship, which was a huge opportunity. And if I didn't get that 8 to 9 months developing this character and who Bo Dallas really is and really find myself, I thought I was ready then, but what I thought then came nowhere close to where I am at now and what I think of myself as a performer. So, like, if I didn't get that opportunity, I wouldn't be where I am now. So in the long run, looking back, it couldn't be a better decision or couldn't be better for me.
Absolutely. I mean, you made the smart change that some people do to a happy guy to an obnoxiously happy guy, and it works. It has to be so much funner going out there now than it was before.
Oh, I have a blast every time I'm out there. I mean, I just stay positive, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't, well, you don't.
How does the locker room react when somebody new comes in, especially when it's working as well as Bo Dallas has been working?
I mean, it's not bad. Everybody's looking. Anybody who's successful in the company, it makes the entire company better. So we're a whole, and anything that's better for the business is better for everybody else. So.
Mm-hmm. And is that a perspective that everybody keeps in mind usually?
I think so.
Yeah. You have a big time family. Your family's big in this business. Did you make the call to not have your family relations in wrestling be a part of your character, or is that something that from the beginning people around you said, you know what, just do it on your own?
Well, I've always wanted to get into this since I was a little kid. I grew up as a fan, even though my family was in it. But I knew this is the direction I wanted to go in. But I wanted to get in and make my name by myself. I mean, you never look at Bo Dallas as, wow, that's IRS's son.
Right.
You'd never think that, and I wanted it to be like that. I respect and love every one of my family members, and everything they've done has been amazing, but I wanted to make it in my own right, and I think I've done a pretty well job of succeeding in at least not being like them.
Absolutely. When you're a kid and you're watching, IRS is your dad, and he's a wrestler / tax man, do you understand what's going on? Are you sitting there like trying to figure out what your dad does for a living? Are you saying like, why don't you wear suits at home?
I mean, I was real young when he was doing that character, and, but kind of understood, not really. I knew for sure my dad was a professional wrestler. Like, getting into fights at school over that and stuff like that. But I always loved it, and sometimes I get to go travel with him and go on the road, so that was fun. And I always looked up to my father regardless. So
you kind of realized the business from an early age, what it was, how it worked, and getting to travel and everything.
Oh yeah, I mean, not everything, but I loved it, and I always wanted to be in it.
So you did have, though, get in fights in school trying to defend pro wrestling at that time?
I mean, back then when NWO was going on, kids talking, yeah, I got a couple scuffles.
Your dad was in the NWO. I forgot about that.
He was.
So I would think that'd be cool, though, as a kid. Why would you have to get into a fight if your dad was in the NWO?
Well, before he was in the NWO.
So was it the age-old, like, wrestling is fake, no, it's not, we're going to fight about it, or was it your dad sucks, or what was the hostility?
I mean, there was a bunch of different, but probably me being a hothead and and the match with, like, your dad sucks, and you don't know, little kids getting in arguments, so mainly that.
When you see your brother succeed as well as he has in WWE, do you look onto that like, I'm never going to get there? Do you look onto that like, all right, if he can do it, I can do it? Like, what does that do to you?
I mean, me and my brother both got into this the same way. Like I said before, we wanted to make it our own right, and I look at my brother and like I'm so happy for him, and I don't look at it as like if he can do it, I can do it. I know in my heart I can make it there too. So like
right.
I'm just happy for his success right now, and I know I'll get mine.
And you like being totally separated?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, people don't even know. Now, who, as far as quality of matches and working, do you like being on the main roster better, or did you prefer NXT? Because it seemed like on NXT you get a little more time with your matches and things like that.
I mean, obviously everybody's goal is to get here, so
Right.
I'm a lot happier up here. Even though NXT is an amazing place and it's bigger than anything ever thought it would be, and and I was so grateful to be a part of the construction and the beginning of it all. But this is the end game, so this is where I want to be. Absolutely.
How much, when you're figuring out your character, is a lot of it you and coming up with ideas and saying this is where I want to go next, or is it I'm happy to be here, this is working, let me know what you want me to do?
I mean, you always got to be ready to evolve, and it's not really this is where I want to go and this is where I'm going to get. It's a collaboration of trying new things, constantly never getting satisfied with what you have, and always trying new things and just forever molding this character. It'll never stop.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of weeks ago on Raw, Bo Dallas had his first loss, and then we saw the first signs of aggression out of him. Were you happy to finally get to that point where you could get past the smile, run around the ring thing?
Oh yeah, it's always good to show real competitive spirit and aggression, which is in there for sure. So.
Yeah. And in your head, when you find out that that's happening, are you happy that you know the character's evolving, or are you annoyed that you want to keep your streak going?
I'm always happy to evolve the character and keep it rolling. I never want to become stagnant. I never want it to be the same. I don't want you to see Bo Dallas 2 times in a row and be like, oh, I saw that. So
Right.
forever changing is good with me.
Yeah, and I think that's the smart way to be, especially long term, because I mean, an undefeated streak is whatever, but if you can actually move on to the future, that's a much bigger deal. Who are some of the guys that you're looking forward to working with that you haven't worked with before?
One of the matches that I'm down the road really looking forward to one day is with Daniel Bryan. I mean, I think me and him can tear the place down, and I would love to have the opportunity to get in the ring with him.
Do you still, like, does your dad watch your matches and say, this is what you need to do, this is what I would do, blah, blah, blah? Does he keep quiet? Does he give you advice?
I mean, he's there. He's always there to state his opinion and then tell me, like, and it's great to have someone or him there to bounce ideas off, because I know whatever I say to him, he'll give back to me with feedback that is best in my interest. So it's always good to have him there, but he's standoffish for the most part, unless I go out of my way to ask him, which I do.
Which is probably better. You don't need somebody like harping down your throat every single match.
Yeah, he's not ever like no on me at all. So like I just out of respect go to him for critiques or anything like that. That's more of how it is.
Were there any motivational speakers that you based Bo Dallas off of? Did you watch a bunch of tapes before you did it, or did you just kind of go out there and make it up?
A little bit of both. I mean, I saw bits and pieces of everything. A lot of what this is using John Cena as my mentor, and Tim Tebow. So like, and I watched motivational speakers here and there, but like a lot of it just came, and I just went with it.
So it's not so much like a motivational speaker as it is those athletes that like get on Twitter every day and say, "This day you can be a champion."
Yeah, that's more what it is, and this just kind of just developed. I mean, it didn't start out as this; it just happened, and whew, here I am.
Who came up with the phrase "Bolieve"?
I don't know. I probably over a year ago. It was on Twitter. I might have retweeted it once or something like that, and then it just started happening, and I was like, wow, this is really becoming a thing.
Oh, so it's just some fan on Twitter.
Yeah, it just happened somehow, and I use it somewhere, and then like I heard it more and more, and I'm like, wow, and then it just happened.
And was Daniel Bryan the first person to say "Bo-ner"?
I would love to say yes, but probably not.
Maybe the first to your face.
Yeah, maybe the first to my face.
Well, what are you doing at SummerSlam on Sunday?
I'm not sure. Fingers crossed. I want to be out there. So, but as of right now, I'm not positive.
Well, you're here in Los Angeles. I would assume they'll have you do something.
Yeah, I'm in Los Angeles. I'm ready to go. So there should be a spot for me somewhere. Just all you got to do is Bolieve.
How long do you see yourself doing this? Like, is there an end game? Do you just want to wrestle until you can't wrestle anymore?
Probably wrestle until I can't wrestle anymore. So I don't have an end game. This is what I love to do, and I couldn't imagine sitting in an office. So this is it for me.
Unless it's a tax office, like because you do have some family history with taxes.
Yeah, I got it in there. So.
All right. Well, Bo Dallas, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.